Hello, good morning all. Topic of my paper presentation is intraoperative and postoperative complications of cataract surgery in pseudoexfoliation syndrome. Pseudoexfoliation is a gray-white fibrillary material which gets deposited in anterior segment of eye, including anterior capsule, zonules, ciliary body, iris, and trabeculum. This accumulation increases risk of intraoperative and postoperative complications, among which secondary open-angle glaucoma is a common entity. Therefore, our aim of this study is to analyze and perform complete preoperative assessment so as to reduce risk of the same and to improve visual acuity. In the following figure, we can see deposition of white fibrillary material on pupillary margin. Along with that, there are foci of loss of pupillary ruff. Coming to materials and methodology, this is a prospective cross-sectional study done in MS Ramaiah Medical Hospital from January 2019 to January 2020, and it included 50 cataract cases. All these cases underwent SICS with IOL implantation. Details of patient's age, best corrected visual acuity, IOP, and dilated fundus findings were noted. Before going for surgery, in our study, following assessment was done. Zonular instability was quantified under slit lamp in terms of clock hours. Pupil size after dilation was noted. Anterior chamber depth, whether shallow or asymmetrical, suggesting lens displacement was seen. Glaucomatous status with IOP measurement, optic disc assessment, and gonioscopy was done in order to see the presence of pigments in the angle. In the first image, we can see pseudoexfoliative material on the anterior lens at the central disc and periphery with the intermediate clear zone. In the second image, we can see subluxation of lens from 2 o'clock to 8 o'clock due to weak zone. Coming to results, in this study, mean age was 64.76 plus minus 5 years. And among 50 cases, 40 cases, that is 80%, had pupil dilation in the range of 7 minutes. That is, wherein majority IOP was in the range of 22 to 27 millimeters. Intraoperatively, capsular vent with vitreous loss was seen in 4% cases, where after thorough vitrectomy, PCIOL or iris claw were placed based on the zonular status. Zonular dialysis was seen in 2% cases, and poor pupillary dilatation was noted in 2% cases, where we used pupil expanders like iris hooks. In few cases, mechanical stretching of pupil or sphincterotomy was also done. Posterior capsular rent was noted in 4% cases, and for larger zonular dehiscence, iris claw lens was used. Postoperatively, among 50 cases, we had 43 patients, that is 86% patients, with good visual acuity in the range of 6x6 to 6x36. One patient had vision that is 6x60 to counting fingers 3 meters, and 12 patients ended up with poor vision of less than counting fingers 3 meters. Corneal edema and microcystic edema was noted in 18% and 6% respectively, and hypema was seen in 2% of cases. Therefore, intraoperatively, we anticipated occurrence of small pupil, zonular weakness with vitreous loss, and shallow anterior chamber, and because of which we could manage to reduce postoperative complications of acute rise in IOP, hyphema, anterior capsular contraction, and fibrosis, which is called as capsular phimosis, and corneal edema, along with that enhanced anterior chamber reaction. Hence, with our study, we can conclude that with thorough preoperative assessment, with the use of pupillary expansion device, good viscodispersive device to coat endothelium, capsular tension rings, we can combat this complex surgery with minimal intraoperative and postoperative complications, therefore giving fairly good postoperative visual outcome. Thank you all.
Dr. Pankhuri.
Yes, sir.
This 2% zonular dialysis, was it intraoperative or preoperative?
So that was preoperative, sir. What
was the grade of the dialysis?
Yes, sir. So for few cases, the clock hours were 6 to 8 clock hours. So we went for iris claw. And one case was there with 4 to 6 clock hours. So we used CTR in that patient, sir.
Only CTR or modified CTR?
So Sioni ring, CTR with the scleral suturing, that one we used.
That is the modified CTR. Okay,
yes,
fine.
Sir. Yes, sir.
So in few cases, you have implanted iris claw lenses.
Yes, sir.
So that cat's eye was found. So how we can prevent that? How can we have a round and regular pupil after retropupillary iris claw fixation?
So while putting the iris claw, we need to make sure that we are clipping the iris claw clips at the mid-pupillary region, not at the anterior or at the periphery. It has to be at the mid-pupillary region in order to have a circular pupil later, post-operatively. And also, so while putting iris claw, it's better to put pilocarpine and have a small pupil while putting iris claw instead of a dilated pupil.
Pilocarpine, because the size of the iris claw lens is 7.5 minimum
Yes.
size. So how will you deal with that? If with such a small myotic pupil, it will be very difficult.
So we'll take one side of the iris claw, put it behind the iris, clip it with this iris hook and or repositor.
Mid-dilated pupil is always better for iris claw fixation. Later on, you can put pilocarpine.
Okay. So.
Okay.